22 here on a feel-good Friday, playing tribute to Dick Clark, greatest American bandstand performances. Obviously, MJ right there doing his thing as a little guy. 271-1100, 271-1100, number to call in. In just a moment, we got a call I want to get to first, and we're going to have a debate here about Measure 2. With us on the line, Cory Fong, North Dakota State Tax Commissioner, and Susan Beeler. She is a big proponent of Measure 2. I want to get to this phone call first. Steve, welcome to the Chris Berg Show.
Yeah, morning there, Chris.
Good morning.
Yeah, say if our neighbors to the east over there don't like our capital, I was just hoping that Jack would have just said, well, if we need any repairs on our capital, I just have to call Cory up and he'll write a check out for it.
You know, of course, I wanted to get your comments on what this gentleman said about the state capitol being an embarrassment.
Yeah,
I love our capital. I've always loved our capital.
So what do you say to Matt Dean of Dean Sausages?
Well, I tell you one thing, everything always goes to this one point. No matter what you think it is, if it's paid for and you can maintain it and do that, that means you're ahead of the game of everybody else.
I think they're jealous. Steve from Wahpeton, thanks for the phone call. 271-1100, 271-1100. Cory, your comments on what Mr. Dean had to say.
Well, I just love our capital. I've my whole professional career is kind of based on coming to this building. I love it. It's a beautiful building inside and out. When I first bought my first house in Bismarck, it was right across the street, and I just have always admired the Capitol. It has a very clean look about it. It was built during the Art Deco period of time, and I think if anyone has a chance to come out and look at our great Capitol, they should, and I'm certainly proud of it, and it's one of my favorite buildings. It means a lot to me personally, and I think North Dakotans should be proud of it.
Cory, let me ask you this. I mean, you're a statewide elected official. You've been obviously around the legislature for quite some time now. What in the world would have a majority leader stand up on the House floor and make that comment?
I have no idea. I mean, it's so inappropriate. It doesn't address the issues that they need to be working on and focusing on in Minnesota. I can't even imagine why he would want to go down that path. It just doesn't even make any sense to me. But he said it, and now he's got to live with it. So, but again, I think we have a lot to be proud of. You know, our capital, the way we operate in North Dakota, and our capital is a sign of that. Is we're just kind of simple. You know, we take care of business. We get the job done, and our capital reflects that. I mean, it's a very simple building, but it's very functional, unlike other capitals across the country. So I think in some ways our Capitol building is a very, very proud reflection of who we are as North Dakotans.
Hey, man, we had a call earlier that said exactly that. Hey, this is exactly what a government building should be like. Again, if you're just tuning in, 825 here on the Chris Berg Show. We've got Cory Fong, North Dakota State Tax Commissioner, also Susan Beeler. We're talking about Measure 2. Any questions, comments, 271-1100. Again, 271-1100. Cory, I'm assuming you're a no for Measure 2 from some of the things I've seen that you've sent out and discussed. Why no on Measure 2?
Well, Chris, I want to make sure that people understand I have concerns about Measure 2, and I've reflected those in some of the comments and some of the presentations that I've made. Three main reasons, and I'll quickly cover them. First, of course, the loss of local control. I have great concerns about that. We believe in local control. Not only Republicans, but Democrats. I think we, as a state, believe that locals make good decisions for their citizens, and this particular measure hands that over, for the most part, to the legislature. Now, the legislature does a good job. I've worked with the legislature since 1995, and I respect what they do, but to budget for 2,100 political subdivisions, I think, is something beyond what we intended for our state legislature to do. So, loss of local control. Second, tax shift, which is something I talk a lot about. It's hard for me to imagine, and again, I don't set tax rates. It's hard for me to imagine, though, with the bird's eye view I have of our revenue system, that we're going to take $1.6 billion out of our revenue system on a biennial basis and be able to just absorb that. And so I think we're going to have to look at, and the legislature is going to have to look at raising other taxes, whether it's sales taxes or income taxes. The third issue that I point to is the uncertainty for local governments. What is meant by legally and properly funding local government? There are discretionary words in the measure that leave it up for interpretation as to what the legislature will have to replace in terms of local funding. And then the other piece of uncertainty is the uncertainty it's going to create for our businesses. They're not going to know what their tax structure is. Are we going to have to increase other taxes? Right now, North Dakota is doing very well. We have a very good regulatory environment. We have a very strong business climate. And guess what? We have a very balanced tax structure, even though it does need some reform. I worry that this upsets that entire benefit that we have going on for us right now that is creating all of this interest in North Dakota. So those, very quickly, Chris, because I don't have a whole lot of time, those are my 3 points that I make, and that's why I'm concerned about Measure 2, and I think voters across the state should be. This is the most important vote that North Dakotans will cast this election season.
Let me ask you this real quick, and I do want to get to Susan Beal here in a moment. We may get to you, Susan, after the break. Again, if you just tuned in, North Dakota Tax Commissioner Cory Fong talking about Measure 2. You mentioned $1.6 billion. I've seen $812 million. Where'd you get the $1.6 billion number?
Well, it's double, because the fiscal note that we were asked to deliver to the interim committee was for one fiscal year. That's $812 million. But you have to remember, this will go on. This will carry forward. And so for a biennium, which is what the state budget
got it. Okay.
Cycle, it's roughly double that. So that's where I'm suggesting the $1.6 billion.
I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, Cory, but that one I can latch on to. That one makes sense. Here's the thing, though. I understand how you got the math, but I think it's pretty presumptive that, okay, we're going to have this property tax situation, and these people are going to just take that money and just put it underneath their mattress, and that's not going to be the case. So have you thought about that?
I guess, Chris, please clarify your question. These people will put it under their mattress. What do you?
When I see, hey, we're going to lose $1.6 billion, meaning from the property taxes over the course of a biennium, to me, I interpret that as saying, okay, so these people are going to get that money. They don't have to pay for taxes, and they're just going to take that and put it underneath the mattress if it's a sort of zero-sum game. But that money they get back on property taxes, they're going to go out and buy more stuff. And because you mentioned, hey, we may have to raise sales taxes, but if they're out buying more stuff, then that might help mitigate some of the losses in tax revenue.
Well, and I think that is part of the proponents' argument, is that the lift from the reduction and abolishment of property taxes is going to create new jobs, new wealth, and our fiscal note did not account for that, and it can't. But that's not going to happen instantaneously. That's going to take a lot of time, even if that theory holds true. And I don't necessarily agree that does hold true because of the other issues that I mentioned, which is the uncertainty. I think the businesses, industries that are looking to North Dakota as a place to do their business, to expand their business, are going to look at us without a property tax and say, "Gosh, where are they going? Where is the state moving forward in terms of its overall tax policy?" And I think it's going to stifle investment in our state.
Cory,
I appreciate what you're saying in the argument. That's the argument of the proponents. But I just simply disagree with that.
Cory, I know you got to get to a meeting. As always, I appreciate your time. I know we'll have you back on in the future to discuss this in much more detail before people place this vote on June 12th, okay?
Chris, thanks for your time this morning. I'm sorry I can't give you more, but good luck to you. And one last comment. We got a great capital. Everyone in North Dakota should be proud of it. Come visit us, and I'll give you a tour.
All right, there you go. You'll get a tour from North Dakota Tax Commissioner Cory Fong. Cory, as always, thanks for the time.